Last time on the WizardCast.
Heather, there you are. Did you swap them out like I asked?
Yes, I did, Brian. What's in this exactly?
Oh, nothing to worry about. We're just secretly switching Mark's normal drink with the dark, sparkling wizard crystals. We're going to see if we can tell the difference.
Here's your Pepsi, Mark.
Thank you, intern. So, what was your name? This tastes different. This isn't diet, is it?
Oh, no, it's definitely not diet. I remembered reading about your hatred for it in the orientation documents.
Is it one of those low-calorie ones, like Pepsi Zero or something?
No, it's definitely not that.
Are you sure this is Pepsi?
Don't you like it?
No, it tastes fine, but, where did you get it?
Well, Brian did say it was a taste test.
A taste test.
Don't get mad, Mark. Honestly, Brian said it would be fine. All you have to do is cooperate with his demands, and then he'll give you the antidote later.
Antidote? What antidote?
Murderer! Murderer!
And now the conclusion of the WizardCast.
I'm Brian Kwong.
And I'm Mark Ross.
We're Salesforce experts that love talking about technology and Salesforce.
We also love humor. Doesn't mean we're actually good at it.
In the Salesforce community, I'm known as the Salesforce Wizard, likely due to me wearing a wizard hat at Salesforce events.
And I'm known as Salesforce Yoda for pretty much the same reason.
You should see the ears.
We have a passion to help educate and entertain people.
So we've joined forces to create WizardCast.
We've got tips and best practices.
We talk with interesting people.
All mixed with quote-unquote jokes and humor.
Welcome
to the
WizardCast.
Greetings, Brian.
Hi, Mark.
Are you ready?
Yeah. Go ahead.
The joke? That's you. That's you.
Sorry, one second.
I mean, we can not do one if you want. Believe me, I have no objection whatsoever to skipping that.
Oh, no. We should do a joke. Do you know drinking too much caffeine can cause memory loss?
You used that one last episode, Brian.
Oh, I did. How does a sow choose between her children?
First episode.
First episode? Why do zombies not use chatter?
Episode 16.
Mark, you have weirdly, oddly specific memory. I don't suppose you remember what tax forms you use for real estate mortgage escrow withholdings, but only when they're being held by a penguin.
Not a clue. My memory is very specific. It's weird. Only really remembers WizardCast jokes. Anything else is like a fart in a colander.
Oh, okay, carry the one. The whole value from 13A into Form 62030P.
So, taxes then?
Yeah, taxes. There's really only three things guaranteed in this life, Mark.
Well, there's death and taxes, and what's the third one?
Let's carry 780 from box
Brian,
14.
Brian, focus.
What?
Focus.
Oh, garbage. Everyone knows you can only count on death, taxes, and garbage.
Like, trash?
No, the band. Garbage? I'm only happy when it rains, Mark.
Oh, okay. Well, happy tax day to everyone in the United States.
Yeah, and may the audits of not getting an audit always be in your favor.
You just said may the audits of not getting an audit always be in your favor.
Look, I'm a little concerned this year, okay?
Tell me what you're really thinking about.
It's now the time in our show to thank the sponsors that make this episode possible.
Real sponsor, real sponsor, real sponsor. Come on, real sponsor. No Emmys, no Emmys, real sponsor.
Today's episode is brought to you by Radiant Glow Tan.
No!
Yes, Radiant Glow Tan, the tanning bed salon trusted by thousands of people every day. Light so good it's like a day's worth of sun in 15 minutes. Guaranteed to turn your skin to a healthy tan glow that can be appreciated even in the dark. Come into a Radiant Glow Tan salon today and be radiant. Radiant Glowtan guarantees nothing. May contain radioactive material. Side effects are mild irritation, luminescence, and probable death. Radiant Glowtan tanning beds should not be used by people who are pregnant, those with heart conditions, or the desire to live. Skin may turn orange and hair may fall out. So, Mark.
So, Brian.
It's been a while, but...
It's life, man. Oh, my God.
I know.
Between Easter and all the craziness of work and, just everything. Just everything.
I'm actually referring to, it's been a while since the last time we did an ideas review.
That's true.
Ideas highlight.
I mean, how many...
It's been so long, I don't even remember the name of the segment.
But we've only done it once.
Yes,
right?
It's been a while.
So this is only the second time, and it doesn't necessarily warrant all sorts of...
Our second, maybe somewhat annual, we haven't picked the frequency yet. Ideas highlight.
Okay. Goal for next time, turn that into a theme song.
All right.
It's the third annual semi-frequent. Can't think of an idea, so we're going to ask for exchange ideas show.
We totally need a jingle. Maybe Apex Unlimits would do one for us. Do you know anyone in the band we could talk to?
No.
Okay.
I don't know anybody.
Well, what we did is we went out to the community and we asked for people to send us ideas that they want us to highlight on our episode.
And they were suckers. They totally gave us things so we didn't have to research anything.
Yes. Thank you guys for providing us content.
Thank you.
So we got lots. Tons.
Oodles.
It was a huge event.
Google's plexes. Is that still a thing that people say now? The Google
plexes?
Is it another thing? I don't know.
Well, we didn't get a Googleplex of ideas.
No, but
we got enough to do a show on.
Yeah, right.
And after some long period of impressive duration of time, which we won't actually say, but involves lots of zeros of microseconds.
After a decimal point, yes.
Yeah. We have chosen 3 out of the submissions for today's episode.
3. Count them. 3.
Yes.
Should I look at do you want me to look at the first one? You want me to read it?
Yeah. Why don't you do the first one?
All right. So this first one was submitted by Daniel Bollinger. And his is debug logging level that will prevent entering _managed _package appearing in the log. Okay. Currently, during unit testing and development packaging org, the log file can be completely consumed with entering managed package messages regardless of what the logging levels are set to. With more complicated tests, consume the entire log until the maximum log size is reached, making it difficult to retrieve useful logging messages. Can this message be tied to a logging level, preferably finite, so that it can be excluded from the logs? Yeah. Great idea. Thanks, Daniel. Maybe we shouldn't count that one.
Next, can you explain what that means?
Yeah, maybe, because we're not developers.
Well, I think Daniel says actually in here that if you ever do managed package and you look at the logs, like 95% of the lines are entry managed package.
Well, that would be bloody useless, wouldn't it?
Yeah, so maybe that's what he meant.
Can I say that?
Bloody?
We have people listening in the UK, I think. I mean, my mother-in-law.
Oh, your mother-in-law listens to us? Oh, right, so my mother, your mother, and your mother-in-law. We've effectively, increased our listeners.
Yeah, by 50%.
Yeah. So, I think I can say bloody. I say bloody all the time here.
Bloody awesome.
Yeah.
I don't think that works.
Bullocks. Okay. Anyways.
Blocks?
No, bullocks.
You're so Midwestern.
Thank you. Our next submission came from Jim Young.
Thank you, Daniel.
Yes, thank you, Daniel. Our next submission came from Jim Young.
Yeah, let's do 3 more. Let's maybe do 3 more.
Well, yeah, I'm doing the next one. If you would stop interrupting.
Okay, all right.
It came from Jim Young.
All right.
Okay. And it's all about roll-up summary fields, wanting to be able to use formulas instead of static criteria. So if you think about it, when you do a roll-up formula, you can do things like go count all the child records and return the number of only the ones that meet certain criteria. But that can be kind of inflexible depending on what you're trying to roll up. Like, maybe you want to be able to have a formula in there so you can do something that's more dynamic based on, like, dates, saying, like, when the date is greater or less than today. So as the date changes, your roll-up summary is automatically being recalculated.
Yeah, because as much as we can do with roll-up summaries right now, it's one of those things where as soon as you start to assume that you can do it with a roll-up summary and you get into it, you start hitting a point where it's like, oh my God, I can't do this. And over time, it becomes more things and more things and more things that you can't do. And it's because of this. Now, this idea on the App Exchange right now, and we are going to put all of these links in the show notes. Yes. So you'll be able to access all of these. This idea has 24,000 points. It has over 2,400 votes.
And is 9 years old.
Is 9 years old. And they did. So Salesforce did post a response to this. Christy posted a response a year ago saying that she got an update from product management, because obviously this was a big, heavily requested idea. And they're basically saying it's not a priority right now.
They're saying they want to do it, but there are other items ahead of it.
Right.
And it's only been a year. I mean, Salesforce only does
that was
3
a year ago.
Well, Salesforce does 3 releases, and if you think about it a year ago, what's been the big push for the last year? Lightning. So my guess is,
now that they are coming down off of that,
maybe some of this stuff will get picked up. We'll find out.
Right.
But one of the things that you could do if you need this situation is you can take a look at a really free tool that was developed called Declarative Rollup Summary Tool for lookups. I use it with a lot of my customers. It's pretty fantastic. Yeah. It's easy to do.
It's by, who's it by?
Andrew Fawcett.
Andrew Fawcett? I thought it was Andrew Fawcett. Okay.
Yeah. Who does amazing things.
And he's also very responsive. If you have trouble with the tool, he's usually very, very willing and able to directly address people and their problems. So yes, I've used declarative lookup rollup summaries. I've also tinkered a little bit with Rollup Helper. Now here's the thing. Declarative lookup rollup summaries by Andrew Fawcett is great. It has its limits. There are some things it can't do. And Rollup Helper can do more things, but Rollup Helper is
a paid solution.
It's a paid solution. There are people who are posting that it's free on the IDX. It's not.
Well, you can do 1 or 3 rollups for free.
I think it's 3, and they're limited. You can't.
Yeah, they're very limited.
You can't do very much with them. So you might as well be using the declarative lookup rollup summary tool until you get to that point. Once you get to that point where you need to do additional stuff, then yeah.
The difference between the two is with Rollup Helper, it is constantly running essentially a scheduled Apex call to go through and check to see, hey, do I need to make updates? Which you would have to do if you were trying to do a dynamic
does that too.
Formula. We're not to a certain degree because a lot of it's trigger based.
It can do both.
It can do both. So, but
you have to schedule the job, and you can't.
With Rollup Helper, you don't have the choice. With declarative, you could go straight triggers only if you wanted to.
Yeah.
So Jim, thank you very much for submitting that idea, and good luck with your worldwide distribution of appropriately sized shiny pants.
What are you talking about?
Well, Jim told us that's his personal quest, is the worldwide distribution of appropriately sized shiny pants.
Why would he tell us that? What does that have anything to do with this? With what we're doing?
I don't know why he told me that was his personal goal, but he also told me his favorite color is orange.
That seems oddly personal and a little bit creepy. Are we getting stalkers now?
I don't know, but what's the next idea, Mark?
I have an idea that I might have to get a restraining order, but the one in the list, this one says, let's see. Very, very, very pertinent to any admin who's ever had an issue of where is this field used, right? Cool. And this is essentially the idea of when you're looking at a field, it could actually pull up what page layouts it's on, like directly on the field configuration page. So you're on the list of fields, you're looking at it, you click the field name, and there's a few things that you can set. Well, they're suggesting you could also show what page layouts it's on, or what workflow rules, or process, or validation rules, or approval process, or all these other things that it could possibly show. Because frankly,
dashboards.
Well, to a point. Most of those things are going to show up if you tried to delete it, right?
Sure.
So I know what some people will do. Some people will literally click delete on a field just to see what it's going to affect.
I've done that.
Which is
in Sandbox.
Oh my god. Yeah, in Sandbox, because that's crazy as hell otherwise. And rather than having to do that, so obviously Salesforce has the capability to make that calculation. Their suggestion is that it should just show you when you look at the field itself. So this has 30,000 points.
30,000.
30,000. which is over 3,000 votes. And Salesforce has responded again about a year ago, saying this is not currently on short-term roadmap, but that was a year ago when Lightning was a huge thing. So this may come up again. I know that the product managers are always keen to take these big point items and try and knock them off the list. So these are, and this is probably easier, frankly, than the formulas on roll-up summaries. That was the previous one. But what is the workaround for this, Brian? Besides fake deleting the field.
In the circumstances that I have had, I go grab Eclipse or Maven's Mate, something with the metadata API, and I do a search of all the XML files.
Exactly. And if what he just said has you going, what did I don't get what? If that's you, there are videos, there are Dreamforce sessions. Essentially what you're looking for is Force.com IDE for admins. If you Google search for Force.com IDE for admins, you're probably going to come up with blog posts, videos, all sorts of interesting things about how to do this. And essentially what it does is it lets you pull down all of how the fields are configured, how workflow rules are configured, how flow is configured, how everything is configured, profiles, page layouts, reports, into plain text files.
As long as it's accessible by the metadata API.
Right. So it's not absolutely everything, but it's probably 90% of anything you could possibly need to get to. And with that, you can do searching. Usually within the tool, within Maven's Mate or Eclipse, you can select the folder and then do a find, and it will find everything. So you can search for your API name of your
One
field.
thing that won't get covered is if you have a bunch of users that have used a field on a report, either as a filter or whatever the case may be, and that report is saved in their personal folder.
Nope, won't get it.
Won't get it. So just keep that in mind, that even though you might have caught it everywhere else, it doesn't mean other people aren't using it.
So talk to your stakeholders.
Yes.
Before you make any changes.
Who was that from?
That was from Ben Dvoracek. Dvoracek. Ben Dvoracek.
Do you like that I always make sure that you get the difficult names?
And there's this guy named Gorav. What the hell?
Gorav Seth.
What kind of name is Gorav?
Yeah, I know Gorav is an MVP. He's a great guy. When he's not trying to beat down Babylon, he's really going after approval processes.
What does that even mean? So he put up a request.
Yes.
An idea.
Which is about basically being able to remove the submit for approval button after the record is approved.
This is near and dear to my heart. You have no idea how many end users have told me, why is that button still there? I already submitted it to approval. What the hell? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I don't want to make a whole new page layout and record type just to remove one freaking button.
Here's the thing. Just because a record has gone through an approval process doesn't necessarily mean it won't go through another approval process.
So that you should have the option.
Yes.
You should have the option on the page layout. That's what it should be. There's lots of little places where they do like the mini console settings or things like that, where there's lots of little links that have all sorts of tweaks on page layout. That needs to be a thing.
Or the button goes away completely and you replace it with, I don't know, a flow or something like that as a call.
You think what, like having like approval process 2.0, where it's essentially all based on flows?
Or something. Yeah.
I can get behind that.
Yeah.
I could really get behind that. I mean, is there a capability? I don't think there is. Is there a capability within Flow to lock a record or unlock a record?
Look, with approval processes are amazing as is. They did a great job.
Sure, but that's kind of that's the main get from them is locking.
Old, and the only thing you cannot replicate is locking the record.
Yeah.
And the only way I've been able to get around this is, and this is going to sound horrible, is you create an approval process where there's no way under the sun it could ever be entered into if someone just manually clicks the button. because that way you can do your approval outside of an approval process, and the very last thing you do to lock the record is effectively submit it to an automatically approved approval process that you can only enter in through Flow or Process Builder or code, because you can skip the approval criteria.
That's not terrible. I mean, it's kludgy, but
It's very kludgy.
I've seen kludgier.
Oh, I'm sure you have.
Yeah.
But yeah, having more control over where the submit for approval button is. Personally, I really hate the submit for approval button, because if you click on it and your criteria does not match, it goes through and says, there's no approval processes. You get a really unfriendly error message on a different page. You know, it would be nice to have it more as a presentable as a validation rule or something like that on the record, or be able to prompt you to say, hey, yeah, there is an approval process here. This is the requirement to go into it, or be able to let you do some sort of customization of that message to tell your users when it's valid.
So it turns out, actually, because I did a search just now, there is an idea in the idea exchange for unlock a record in Apex. And it says, delivered in Winter 16.
What?
Delivered. It says delivered.
Winter 16.
Googling live.
Yes.
It's
Google.
exciting.
This is what we call good podcast material. Lock record.
It says,
Apex.
yeah, no,
Set
it's there.
approval process locks and unlocks with
So,
Apex.
so theoretically, somebody could actually write a Flow plugin for this, theoretically, which would be the bee's knees, the pig's digs,
yeah, so this requires
the
you
dog's
to
logs.
go to Process Automation Settings and Setup, and click Process Automation Settings, and then enable record locking and unlocking in Apex. So you do have to turn it on. But
Okay.
the way it is you go through, you query the record, and then you call a method called that's basically approval.lock parens
Getting code heavy again, Brian.
the record or
Ooga.
the list of records, comma,
Ooga.
false, and close the parens. And that's effectively it.
Yeah.
Which means, if this is what you want to do, you can create an invocable method that can be called through Process Builder or Flow, and then you'll be able to lock things through Process Builder or Flow.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah,
That is amazing.
you should go make that.
I will. I'm putting that on my list of things to do right after everything else I have to do for work. But
Great.
that would
So,
be
yeah,
really
awesome.
cool. Yeah, coming to coming to the wizardnews.com at another date.
That'll be the fall 17 release,
Yeah.
right?
Or maybe, well, here's a thought. Maybe if I write it for the blog for my company, I could use company's time to develop it.
Yeah. You try to get that one by and see what happens.
If only I knew the person who's in charge of our marketing department. Oh, that's me.
All right. So thank you, everybody, for your submissions. Thank you, Daniel and Jim and Ben and Gorav,
Yes.
for your
And
submissions. We
everyone
have
else
others
who did
Yes.
submit and we haven't gotten to. We will probably bring them up in another episode of Ideas Highlight or whatever the
got good
jingle
ideas.
is going to be. Yeah.
We have actually our entire list of stuff that was like, yeah, these are all good. So it's just a matter of like deciding and then figuring out what to do next.
Yeah, and
And we'll come back around to them.
we'll also put the link to the survey in the show notes. So if you do want to be able to submit an idea for a future episode, please do so. We would love to hear what they are. I will tell you, we don't ask from us. We basically ask what your what's the subject or the name of the idea, the URL, so we can go reference and read it if we need to. And why is it important to you? Because
And
just like in Daniel's case, we may not understand it.
I just scrolled to the left. You also asked them what is their quest and what is their favorite color.
Now you just ruined the joke.
Isn't that what I do?
Yeah. But I also asked them whether or not the Monty Python joke in the survey was funny.
And what did they say?
50% said yes, 50% abstained. So effectively I have 100% yes.
Oh God, congressional politics. Let's. I think that's our cue to do the outro, Brian.
Yeah. WizardCast is produced by Brian Kwong and Mark Ross, directed by Brian Kwong and Mark Ross, technical administration by Brian Kwong and Mark Ross, script writing by Brian Kwong and Mark Ross, audio editing by Brian Kwong and Mark Ross, website maintenance by Brian Kwong and Mark Ross, tax headaches by the IRS. And our intern this episode was Heather Pelissari. Thank you so much for helping us out with the Wizard Crystals.
Send those through interview. Hang on.
Oh, antidote shot, Mark.
Oh God. Okay. I feel better now. Send us interview suggestions, jokes, videos, tips, and feedback to wizardcast at thewizardnews.com or head over to thewizardnews.com and click Contact WizardCast.
Don't forget to subscribe to the WizardCast and receive our next episode automagically.
Please, please, please post reviews on iTunes and share this episode. It helps other people find the show.
As well as, maybe get us enough listeners so we could get a sponsor. Maybe?
No, stop. No, you're just setting them up to be let down.
That's true. Once again, I'm Brian.
And I'm experiencing a sensation altogether new to me. And frankly, I love it.
Thanks for listening. Say what?
That's my MST3K reference for the days.